For me, this was when I saw the breakdown. First off, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. I had heard about the story before, and I told my family. They were all very excited. And when I auditioned, it was my first audition, and it happened pretty quickly in the sense
I
that
love that.
it was my first.
Audition.
I'm telling you, I'm spoiled. Like I am so spoiled in the sense that this is my first audition. It was such a memorable one because of the story that we were going to have the opportunity to tell. And when I booked it, I remember my manager, and God rest her soul, she passed away, but my manager, she had said that she called me and she was like, are you ready to go to Romania and Bulgaria at the time? And then it changed
Yeah.
ultimately to Morocco and Budapest, and filming got pushed back to the fall. But it was an incredible experience. It was a wonderful experience to have as my first opportunity. And I even FaceTimed my parents when I told them that I booked it. So I have that on
Aw.
footage of my parents like being, because I was on the East Coast, I wasn't with them. But yeah, I have that on footage.
And the question was how
Was the first audition, it was your audition for this.
I was actually traveling in Mexico, in Oaxaca. And it was during the pandemic, and I hadn't auditioned in a while. And it was at the point where everything had gone on self-tape. So I thought, I really don't have to be
I know.
in one place
Yeah.
anymore. It was the first time I'd ever traveled for pleasure outside of work. And yeah, I got an email about this self-tape, and I researched Roya, and I'm always attracted when it says it filmed somewhere exotic.
It's true.
And then I didn't hear anything for quite some time. And then I was, uh, if- months later, I was traveling back to Mexico and I got an email. The callback for that is tomorrow. And it's the only time that everyone can meet because there were people in England,
Uh-huh.
and I was traveling to Mexico for my cousin's birthday. I think I'd even had a shot on the flight.
That is so funny.
And I was like,
I did my
what?
call back in Mexico. I didn't know.
You did?
I did my call back in
What?
Mexico too.
And so I was like, okay, you guys, I got to check out. I'm sorry. Like, and I think I had three more callbacks after that
What?
until finally I did the table read with you guys, and
I
you guys
love
had all
that.
been cast. I think I was the last person to join the team. Um,
We
I
were
mean, it's so
saving you.
exciting, so amazing. What an honor, what a pleasure. Uh, yeah.
My character, Esin, is such a joy to be, to embody. She is so soft-spoken, so feminine, so graceful, so humble. And really, she has this quiet inner strength. There's this burning desire in her to do more, but she's not so vocal about it. And I think the story arc for her is just really finding her voice. And I've always related with that arc of finding your voice because I've said it in the past before, but I was a very shy kid. And my parents actually put me in acting classes when I was little to break me out of my shell. And I ended up really liking it. But that idea of finding your voice and being able to grow your confidence and lean on other women is something that I resonates strongly in my personal life.
I play the real life Roya Mahboob, an incredible visionary leader who brought STEM education and robotics to girls' schools in Afghanistan and continues to this day. She's been involved with so many exciting things, bringing uh, fighting for gender equality there through technology and even through crypto, financial freedom, to how that is a piece of gender equality as well, and access to technology, access to the internet, really, that it brings, gives the voiceless a voice. So she's just this incredible real life figure. And I can't, I look up to her. To me, I'm starstruck by her. But I would say that the way that I was able to connect to her and what I think I have in common with her is this incredible passion and drive and determination. I think it's something that I relate to in my own life and something that I also recognize in the women in my life, my mother, my grandmother.
Mhm.
Um, I think women from that region in general, it's like there's this fiery determination, whether they're the matriarch of a household or they're, breaking down barriers and fighting for their dreams. That was something that was really very relatable to me.
My personal skills, I feel just being Gen Z, I have a pretty decent semblance of technology and I've grown up with it. It's kind of been a part of my life at all times. And I took an art class in college, and I try to, especially after being a part of this film, I try to delve more into coding, into understanding robotics, and into all of those things. I wish I knew more. I truly do, because I think that STEM is so important, and National STEM Week is so important because it highlights all those wonderful careers that are STEM focused. It highlights all the good that they can do. And I think everyone can agree that STEM is the future, and we need to inspire more people and encourage more people to be a part of STEM related fields. And so I think if every kid could get inspired during National STEM Week to even just take a coding class, or to even take a robotics class, or make a robot at home, that would be wonderful.
Whew.
Yeah.
Setting the standard pretty high. Make a robot at home.
Noreen did it.
I know.
He ordered a kit off Amazon.
I know, as his preparation.
Yeah.
I would say I'm the last generation that remembers a time before
I don't remember
computers
that.
and phones and things like that. So I'm not going to say I'm as confident as you are, but my sister is actually in tech, and my sister is a coder of
Mhm.
sorts. I don't really know exactly what she does, but I mean, so much respect and so much. Um, I feel so excited about this field and what it means for the future, what it means for young people. I love that it's a field that completely is like boundaryless. The sky's the limit with what you can achieve if you can imagine it. And you're not imagining something for the sake of nothing. You're imagining something to be a solution to a problem that we face today. And that's how that's what I learned through this film is that's how these kids really think. They're using their imagination and their joy and their creativity to solve problems that we face today and problems that we're going to face in the future. So STEM really is the future, and it's not. I think like the field is so diverse as well. There's so much room for creativity. There's so much room for different types of approaches and minds where that's concerned. And also that it breaks boundaries, like it doesn't matter where you're from. I love there's this line in the film. She says, "This is the only competition where the only one robot will
Oh,
win, but you will all
this is the only sport where you all can turn pro. That one?
where only one robot, there'll only be one winning robot. Most of the robots will
Oh,
lose, but
Dean
all
Kamen
of
says
you
that
can turn pro.
all the kids will win. Only one robot will, I mean, only one robot will win.
But all of you can turn pro.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
love that. That's so cool. What a message for people from kids from all over the world. It doesn't matter what color, what a socioeconomical background you come from, what gender you are. If you have a mind um, that can envision something that hasn't been done before, you have a place in this industry, in this field.
for me, I mean, for all of us, we took dialect coaching. That was a big part of it. I think when you're in the accent, when you have that accent, it kind of helps you to automatically bring yourself into the character, to bring yourself into the persona that you have developed for your character. I had a lot of creative liberty because Esin is not a not completely based off of a real Afghan dreamer. She was kind of an amalgamation of different stories and different true experiences and scenarios and backgrounds of the original Afghan Dreamers team. So I had some creative liberty in that, but I think a lot of it was looking at her background, her family background, what they expected of her. I talked a lot with my family to see how their experiences in Afghanistan were. And I also did a lot of work just watching robotics competitions, watching the girls the real girls in their TED Talks or in their speeches and reading the articles, listening to Roya and meeting up with Roya and Alaha in New York and kind of doing that prep work to really get inspired and feel as much in the character as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think very similar. There was a lot of material out there on the Afghan Dreamers, on these girls. They've gone around the world and they've done some amazing interviews and talks, and there's so much footage about with Roya podcasts and press and TED Talks, and I was also able to interview Roya and her sister Elaha, who's a co-writer on the film. Something that I'd never done before was I was able to get Roya's birth time, and I made a birth chart
Cool.
for her. During the pandemic. I'd taken an astrology class, and I was like,
So
this might be a
cool.
really interesting way to approach a character and a real person. And it was fascinating. And I will say, Roy is a Gemini, and there's so much references to being connecting with many, many people, being a leader, being a visionary, being involved in technology, being a communicator and a connector of sorts. And yeah, shout out to astrology. That was a good one.
So
That was a
cool.
good tool.
That is awesome. I wish I had Esin's birthday, even if it
Well,
was like a
yeah,
make-believe. Maybe
yeah.
I'll come up with her birthday
I
based
mean,
on,
yeah, you can do
I'll
it. You
go
can
in the
just make it
reverse.
up.
I'll do the
Yeah.
reverse. Yeah.
Think behind the scenes, these girls really life imitated art. They bonded so much, and I think the dynamics they felt pretty spot on. Like the film, you guys were
I
like
feel
in
like
this like extended slumber party and field trip sort of thing, and I felt like you're a mama bear, and
protective
yeah,
leader,
and um
our fearless leader.
oh, thank you. And very connected to also Yekta and Noreen, who play my brother and sister. I felt like I emotionally depended on them. And sometimes we were, to be on location is always so exciting because there's an energy, even if you're not in the exact spot, like just being in the Middle East, there's an energy that
There
like
was, yeah.
infuses the air there. And then being in Budapest, we were surrounded by a lot of most of the extras, you would say, or like the day players were um, p- kids from robotics,
Oh yeah.
real people from robotics teams from around the world who'd come in to operate their own robots. And to be in that energy itself was really interesting and really exciting. And I think informed so much of the energy of the film.
It was lovely that the chemistry just clicked for all of us. I mean, we all fit in so seamlessly. They did a wonderful job choosing who would play each character because I think it all worked and it created a beautiful piece. And I think one of my favorite highlights from behind the scenes was when we saw the robot for the first time. The Dutch team came from
Mm-hmm.
the Holland team came and we saw the robot for the first time and we were all freaking out because it was so cool and they were actually moving it and this team actually competed in one of the robotics competitions. So that was fascinating to see and all of us were trying to like play with the remote and see what was going on and then we got to have these robots that they had built on set for us and that was really really cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
We did all the competition stuff other than the real footage that they had gotten before we'd even started filming. We shot in Budapest. I think it was over 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and it
it
was
was
what we were
weeks, yeah.
doing every day. We were living and breathing
Robots.
robots and competition. And there was a lot of like cheering and yelling
Yeah.
and high energy.
It is
And
good.
I think even the last scene of the film was the last scene we shot.
Yeah. A lot of emotions on that
Yeah.
last scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. About me.
Well, I have something new.
Go ahead.
Um, so I've always I used to write, co-write for a band called Wild the Coyote. And in the last year I've picked up the guitar.
Oh my gosh,
And
amazing.
so it's such an interesting thing to be on a different side of that. So this year I might I'm and my goal is to record some music. Yeah.
I'll be your first listener. I'll be there. I'll be ready when it drops. For me, I think something that's so different than I think my acting background and my academic background. I really like martial arts. I think it's such a
Really?
beautiful thing about being able to protect yourself, self-defense, but also that fluidity in that. So I do taekwondo, done kickboxing,
I didn't know
I've done
that.
like gumdo, and I hope to like actually build and foster each one of these to be able to defend myself. I think that that's so important. Alongside for every woman, I think it's important to learn.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's my little my something that I don't think a lot of people know about me.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I loved beef.
That was so good.
Oh
Is that
my
still
God.
running?
They have
Another
another
season? I
season.
didn't know
Yeah.
that. That one is so good.
I loved beef. I would love to do something like that. Um, and I loved House of Dragon as well.
I haven't
I
seen House of
watched it
Dragon.
twice.
I have not seen House of Dragon. Oh God.
Oh yeah, I would love to be a part something. I love magical realism and fantasy, and there's so much you can, which actually beef feels like as well. Like they're
Beef
really
was done really well.
teetering on this edge of like what's real and what's not, and I love that so much.
For me, I think it would be currently running. I watch so many old things that stopped running, but I think it would be The White Lotus. Have you
So
seen?
good too.
It's so good, and I just love the acting. I love the chemistry between all of the characters, and I think it just feels so like it borders that like drama suspense, but then you have those like comedic moments where you're just like, was
So
that
good.
supposed to be funny? And I like that. I like that it creates like a sense of awkwardness sometimes in you, and I really like feeling that.
Totally.
Um, and then along with that, this one hasn't run yet. It's not currently running, but there's a Tomb Raider series that works. Yeah,
Huh.
that would be my thing. So I'll gear up. I'll get my taekwondo and my martial arts
Okay.
skills. I'll be ready. I'll be a fighter.
Who's playing Glory Crow?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe Sophie Turner. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Maybe.
interesting.
Yeah, I think. Oh,
Yes, definitely.
absolutely.
Definitely. I felt like um we're just like one piece of this puzzle and this overall push and desire to get these amazing women's story out into the world. Bill always says that this film project started with an article that was shared with him about the Afghan dreamers and about Roya, and I feel it's been um, it's always kind of been about that, about getting their story, people, young women that are so underrepresented and work that's still happening today and very important. I mean, change is not linear. You have to keep actually working away at it. And I hope that we're just like a piece of that puzzle as well.
Yeah, I think it does feel very impactful, given our backgrounds and our heritage too. Like we want to do our communities proud, and we want to make sure that they are being represented in media. We want to make sure that their stories are being told, and we also want to showcase the good that comes out of those areas and how much women are so powerful. They just need some opportunities for empowerment, and I think that
Mm.
that's a wonderful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing that the film is able to portray and convey. Everyone should go watch this film because it is, I think Nicole said this earlier, it's like a sports action film, but you also have the drama and the intensity of having the cultural sort of conversations that are shown in the film and you have the chemistry between the girls and the connection between them and everyone should want to go watch this because it is a film that is truly unlike any other in the sense that we haven't seen a lot of films in Hollywood have so many strong women, female leads, and portrayed but authentically by Middle Eastern women. And that is a beautiful thing. And I think that's really what makes it unique. And STEM focus. How many, I don't know a lot of movies that are talking about STEM and kids in STEM. So it's really cool.
Under the lens of a sports film,
Yeah.
and the film is
It's
really
intense. It's
fun.
not, not enough.
Um, it's entertaining and it's empowering, it's inspiring and it's educational, and you're gonna leave, I think, with a lot to talk about. That you're gonna learn a lot, but not in like a boring, preachy way. I think it's like really fun and joyful and makes you feel hopeful and optimistic about the future.